Welcome to Football Tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here on Top FC TV. My name is Chris Rodriguez. I'm your host for today's show. Shout out to everybody that's starting to get on commenting. And we're also live on Twitch for the first time. We're live on Twitch, and we're going to start doing Twitch. As you know, we were doing the AMP app, the new AMP app that Amazon had brought out, in order um, to do radio stuff, and they have discontinued that app only after a year of creating the app. So we're gonna have to switch off, and we're gonna be on Twitch as well. We're gonna be on we are on Twitch, so shout out to you, and we are on YouTube as well. You can listen to these on Spotify or on your favorite listening platform. We're gonna talk about by the way, Laurent might be here, might not. We'll see what happens. Please drop your comment. We were live on Facebook as well. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna see what's happening. The headline. Let's get to the headlines. Let's jump into what's popping today in football world. As Jude Bellingham has been terrific for Real Madrid, thrashing Osasuna 4-0, twice scoring in this match this weekend. Diego Simeone is on the brink of signing a new deal with Atletico Madrid. We'll see if that's a good or bad deal. AC Milan produced an unlikely hero in the goalkeeper, and Giroud, number 9, put the number 1 on and took over in the goalkeeping spot. We'll talk a little bit about that. Mason Greenwood, the former Manchester United player, debuted. He already debuted, but actually got on the score sheet this weekend as well for Getafe. Nice goal, nice strike, solid strike. We're gonna see what's happening with him. Another headline today, of course, we are definitely gonna talk about this. Have Manchester United made a mistake by signing Andre Onana? Have they made a mistake of letting De Gea go? We're going to talk a little bit about that. By the way, also the Magpies, my team, the great Newcastle United, not able to hold on to the win against West Ham United. They turned the game and unfortunately not able to capitalize, not able to keep it together and let it go to West Ham United, to the team of West London. However, the Magpies have been doing good. Newcastle have been doing good, incredible with the Champions League, the most important tournament right now in the world. By the way, we're heading into the international break, so we're gonna see what's happening with the national teams as well. England is gonna play a friendly with Australia, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that with Saka, the young star for Arsenal that didn't get to play for this match between Arsenal and Manchester City. We're definitely going to talk about the Premier League. You already know we're going to debate on that. Pep Guardiola refused to elaborate on what happened in Manchester City's tunnel with Arsenal. By the way, Kyle Walker got into a fight with Arsenal's coach. We'll give you his name. He refused to handshake Arsenal's coach, and I mean, they lost it. They lost it. They got into a fight right there at the Emirates. By the way, 2 matches that made mayhem, craziness in their stadium. Old Trafford and the Emirates erupted because they won their games in the last moment. We're going to talk about that. Wayne Rooney is let go of DC United here in the United States, and he is more than likely going to go to Birmingham over in Great Britain. He's going back home, and more than likely going to go there. He's leaving DC United, so we're gonna see what's happening. Inter Miami, by the way, Messi not able to help Inter Miami get to the playoffs. They are absolutely not have a single chance. Who is Job or Joby? Job, how do you say it? Jude Bellingham, Jude's younger brother. Huh? Is he impressive in England? He is playing for Sunderland. Our rivals, the Magpies rivals. He's playing with them, but he nonetheless is a good young player. Of course, his brother is on another level. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Hopefully, Real Madrid and Barcelona, El Clasico, coming up after the international break. Hopefully, Laurent gets on and we can talk about that one, because that's going to be the game of the games, ladies and gentlemen, in football world, club-wise. You know it, Real Madrid, Barcelona. PSG coach Luis Enrique criticized, and the Magpies beat them. Mike Hermoso scores again, but what about Spain? The Pachuca forward starred again for the team, scoring one of the goals in the win over Lyon, just as she did against America, but doubts remain as she is not called up for the national team of Spain. You know what happened with her and everything else. So another headline for the United States men's national team: Gio Reyna returns raises questions for Berhalter. They used to not get along. We'll talk about that as well. Let's go to Calcio. Paulo Dybala subbed off in tears as Roma star suffers yet another nasty injury in Cagliari win. By the way, the game between Fulham and Sheffield United, man, unfortunately, a player just got a bad injury, man. Bad situation. Snapped his ankle, lower leg, lower shin. Just bad deal. I want to show you also a screamer, a smacker from Chloe Kelly, Manchester City's female star, as she sent a screamer, and she is showing Weigman, Serena, I'm here to be the starter for the England national team. Boy, that was one hell of a goal. By the way, David Beckham considered to become an ambassador for Manchester United amid takeover talks with the Sheikh. We'll talk about that as well, hopefully. Arsenal coach, we'll talk about that, is the scuffle that happened. But I want to give a shout out to everybody that's been listening, man, watching. Thank you so much. Shout out to the great Lewis York, of course, from Newcastle, that's always commenting, always staying on. Thank you, brother, for being on. And he says good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Yes, sir. Over there in Newcastle, what time is it? Give me the time, baby. What time is it in the United Kingdom? Right now, 7 p.m. here in the United States. Man, I guarantee you it's not nowhere near that early in England. So just keep commenting, and we're gonna get to your comments. Have your say here. We're live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, of course. Please like, share, subscribe. As you know, it helps us a lot to keep growing. All right, we're gonna talk. Man, hopefully Laurent gets here, because it would be nice to have some of his takes. By the way, he's got his own show here on the channel. It's called the Squeaky Bum Time, and he did a podcast yesterday. It was really good, so you can enjoy it on the YouTube channel as well. And he had some good takes, a lot of good games in the Premier League. But really, what happened between the match of the week is obviously Arsenal City, right? Arsenal and Manchester City. That was one hell of a game. And honestly, I honestly think that City deserved more than what they got. Not saying that they didn't, I just don't think they deserve to lose the game in the way that they did. Obviously, Ake, unfortunate situation, hits him in the face, ball goes in. I don't think the Arsenal fans, I mean, I get it. They need to celebrate a tremendous win against probably the best team in the Premier League, more than likely the best team, and also, probably top 3 team, top 2, top 1 of the European, of the world. You got to be honest, man. City it's unbelievable. So I understand that they had to celebrate. But what I don't get is, man, it's just, celebrating over the top and making it seem as if they won the Champions League itself. I just don't agree with that. I think Arsenal is much bigger than that. In popularity, much bigger than City, of course. So I just don't agree with the amount of attention, because you are feeding a giant that doesn't need to be fed. You are feeding City's ego by doing that, by celebrating so much. I understand that this is the first time in a long time that they beat them for the Premier League. I know Laurent likes to think that he said, no, it's a false narrative. They actually beat them in certain cups. But, the Premier League is tougher than most. So in the Premier League, Arsenal have not beat them. So I understand to celebrate. I just didn't get the whole, just jumping up and down and celebrating as if they won a championship. I just don't understand. But you can see and you can tell that both of these teams are lining up to become, more than likely top contenders for the Premier League for years to come. The way that they've done transfers, the way that they have experienced, the recent games, the way that they have matured. Of course, they're fighting for Premier League, Champions League. They're having their moments in European football. And now Arsenal, obviously coming back after a long time, they weren't in the Champions League for a long time, and of course, City winning the treble. But man, it just one hell of a weekend, and I understand that again. Arsenal fans need to celebrate, but I just felt like it just makes City that much bigger, that much more noticeable when you celebrate like that. You know, so we'll discuss more games. Of course, Liverpool, Brighton, a great match as well. 2-2 on the full time. Newcastle 2-2 with West Ham. That was a tough game for me to watch. I finished watching it right before I had to go to church, and man, I didn't go to church in a good mood, man, because they West Ham scored right before I had to go, and it certainly wasn't a pleasant match, a pleasant way to go. I mean, it was tough because I felt like we had it and we just let go, man. We just let it go. And I feel like Newcastle, that win right there could have easily been one of those situations where you were like, okay, after a tremendous win against PSG, now we're coming back and we're making it happen once again, adding more points to the Premier League, which that would have been amazing. I will say this though, after a tremendous win by Newcastle, after a tremendous win against PSG, 4-1, ladies and gentlemen, 4-1. I mean, we actually on this show, Football Tonight, we didn't get to talk about it. We didn't do a show on Thursday as we usually do. We had some situations, some issues, and but we wanted to talk about it, of course. But I did do a live show the same day doing a review of round two of Champions League, and I thought, man, this is unbelievable. You know, the way they have done it. So I didn't think, I didn't say it publicly, but I thought this weekend Newcastle is going to feel it. They're going to feel the exhaustion, the exhaustion, the tiredness. You know, is that game, the consequences of that game, of that energy they wasted, is going to fall on them. And this weekend against West Ham, you're gonna notice it. And sure enough, I did see that they were a little bit sluggish, a little bit tired, a little bit, just they were just sluggish. Um, but then again, it's I expect it, I understand it, and also I applaud Eddie Howe for putting the starters on the lineup, on the starting lineup, because these players have to get used to this. You know what I mean? It's not about babying these players so they feel better by next. No, you need to put them on because this is what you got to win with and plus because just look at the standings. Newcastle, it's eighth. You know, you need to try to get in that fifth spot. You need to try to get on that fourth spot. You'd have to qualify for the Champions League again this season, in my opinion. So you have to put the starters and you have to make it happen no matter what. If you're tired, it is what it is, but you have to make it happen. We're going to go to some comments right here. Lewis York says Newcastle 4-1 on Wednesday night. What a night that was. I am not afraid to say this. I did cry when the Champions League anthem was played at St. James's Park. Oh, no, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. I was right there. I got emotional. I was at work. I was watching it. And again, I know people like to laugh at it, but I did become a Newcastle fan this year, before this season. And man, I've been so invested in the team, you know, um, and watching stuff and just got really involved with Newcastle's history, just watching game after game. And I got emotional, man, because it's back. And Newcastle is a big club in England. It's a big club in the United Kingdom. It's a big club in Europe. It's a big club in the world. People know Newcastle. Certainly not as big as other clubs. I understand that history has, you know, it's there for a reason. But Newcastle, man, they deserve to be in the Champions League, and the way they did it, they proved every people that doubted. They proved that people that that didn't believe, that didn't think, that thought Mbappe is going to come and kill everybody in St. James's Park. Well, they were wrong, man. They were 100% wrong. Louis York says Alexander Isak has withdrawn from Swedish. He has withdrawn from the international side. Well, I'm sure temporarily. You mean? I doubt he would do that permanently. But I mean, that's okay. Listen though, I'm a traditionalist, so I think these players need to go with their national team if they need to. You know what I mean? Let's not make this into now the club is more important than the national team. No, these guys need to go to England. These guys need to go to to Sweden. These guys need to come to the United States. These guys, let them play with their national team. Let's not mess around and act as if these guys can't play, national. I hate it because back 30 years ago, these guys had to travel in the worst conditions, flying commercial. And now they got private planes. Now they got private flights. They got first class at worst, you know. So let these guys, they can play in their national. And if you're in Europe, you have no excuse whatsoever because listen, you're like 30 minutes away from most countries. So, let's not get into that crap. They need to play, they need to play. It's Louis from YouTube. Hey, by the way, buddy, thank you. You're on Twitch too, man. You're on Twitch, man. You got to get all your friends to follow us. All your friends, man, to follow us on Twitch as well. We're getting started on there. And so thank you, brother. It's 1 a.m. 1 a.m. in Newcastle, man. I would love to be in Newcastle right now, boy. I want to drink the Magpiness. We're gonna talk about Premier League, of course. I think Laurent is coming in right now. He said I was on the other day, but unfortunately the show got canceled. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I apologize for that. We usually don't cancel shows, but it will. We had to that day. The game against PSG was probably one of the best ever games I've ever been to as a Newcastle fan. Well, I said it on the stream after the Champions League. It's probably the best game in Newcastle's history. Just be honest. Um, so shout out to Lewis York, man, for commenting. But yeah, let's do a little rundown on the scores real quick on the matches this weekend on the Premier League. Very, very important. I think Lorraine is joining us right now. We're gonna give him the pass to come on. Let me see real quick. Oh, I was about to do the scores, Laurent. So I'm gonna leave that to you. That's your stuff. So there he is. There is Laurent. So go ahead, do the scores of this weekend, brother.
Up on the screen yet, but I'm sure I will be there. I am
Yeah.
on stage. Hello. Hello, everybody. Thanks for starting the show, Chris. Appreciate it. And we will go to the scores. Put 65 seconds on the clock. Luton Town 0, Tottenham 1. Tottenham pull it out, a man down. Again, the player of the season, James Maddison with the assist to Van de Ven. Spurs leading the league. Then Fulham defeat Sheffield United 3-1. Old boy Mr. Villian scores a goal. Good stuff there. Sheffield are terrible, still winless. Paul Heckenbottom is going to be fired. Then my beloved Vincent Kompany and his Clarets of Burnley do go up in this game, but then lose to 1-4 to Chelsea. Chelsea starting to get the ball rolling. Raheem Sterling was amazing in this game. Then an undeserved victory for Manchester United. They win 2-1, scoring 2 goals in squeaky bum time on the day that they celebrated the death of Sir Alex Ferguson's wife, Kathy. And they defeat Brentford 2-1. Brentford, a little bit of trouble. Then the great and powerful Everton score 3 goals at home, defeat Bournemouth. Iraola still without a win as well for Bournemouth. Not looking good. Then the less spoken about this 0-0 Palace versus Forest, the better, but Forest still looking good. I think they'll be okay. Then Sunday's game, Sunday. A great and fun 2-2, Brighton versus Liverpool. Brighton in the first half, Liverpool in the second half. Mo Salah should be appreciated more. Scored 2 goals. Incredible player. Mild controversy on the shirt pull of Gross. The Liverpool lunatics are just out of their minds. Then Wolves won, Aston Villa won in a Midlands derby. My guy, Gary O'Neill, getting it done. Unai Emery has got to feel bad about this game. Then 2-2 with your mob, Newcastle United drawing with West Ham. Newcastle did push to get this win, but Koundos would not let West Ham go without a point. Then in the game of the day, which was not a great game, Arsenal won, Manchester City 0. I don't think City really cared about this game and just tried to see it out as a 0-0, and they got stung by trying to do nothing. But Arsenal do get a deserved win, and I guess those are your scores.
All right, so we can start talking about that one.
Mhm.
Obviously, I mean, City wanted to win. Stop playing. Every time there's a loss, you say they don't want to. They don't want to win. So stop it, man. They wanted to win it, but obviously, but more than likely, Arsenal wanted to win it more.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yes. No, I hear your point. Like, I think with City, they knew that. Listen, here are the facts. Rodri got the red card, and City have lost every single game he didn't play. You can't lose the impetus of your side in KDB, Rodri, Silva was there, and expect to win against big opponents. Right? These are the games that those big players are needed to break them down, to find a way through. And I think ultimately Guardiola kind of realized somewhere in the middle of that game when he brought on John Stones to bleed in the middle of the park and tried to sort of kind of shut the game down. Once he took off Alvarez, I was like, well, are you trying to win this game? And so I think he sort of felt like, okay, we have control. It doesn't feel like Arsenal are really trying to win this game, or we can see them out with our extra defender and we'll just try and see it out. And then I think, Arsenal took that as an opportunity at home. Their crowd asked for it. Martinelli making a difference. The changes that Arteta made all connected for the goal. Partey to Tomiyasu, onto Havertz, onto Martinelli. 4 changes, all touch the ball in the goal. So something happens there, and they get the luck by trying. Ball goes off of Ake's face, and Arsenal get the win. They deserve to win. But
but see, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because, man, that ball, it's just a fluke. It's a mishap. It's not supposed to happen. I mean, yeah, it's things like that could happen in football, but
if you can't score if you don't shoot, right?
But listen, I will never. If I'm Arteta, obviously he's not going to come out and say it. He has to keep working. He more than likely is going to be like, okay, we have to fix this, and that. He's
it's not a perfect performance. I don't think Arsenal were particularly good.
Yeah, but that's the problem because on the night the City is not at its best,
yeah,
this happens, and it could Arsenal people, certain fans, coaching, players could misinterpret this. And
is they're on their way? No, they're not on their way.
Yeah, so and that's a problem because it's a problem for me when you celebrate like you won the World Cup. I don't understand that.
They do it all the time. This is the Arsenal way. This is how they are.
It just makes City that much bigger right now in the world, not only Premier League. I'm just saying, it's the team people want to beat. All teams want to beat City. All teams, would like to get that half goal nil against City. They just want to barely win it. They did it. I told you on the chat, if Ake would have blinked, that goal would have went away. I mean, that's just a lucky shot. And
it's a lucky shot, sure. But here's the big stat, right? Here's the big thing. City only took 4 shots, the least amount of shots they've taken in a game since 2010. They were hampered. This was a defender's game. Like, I think City's defense was really good. I think they controlled the game. It was all about control. There was a lot of tactical pressing and guys in different places. It was a chess match more than a football game. It was not about up and down. I think in Arsenal's case, they want it to be up and down because they're young. They got their guys. Sure, Saka's missing, but that's in their interest because I think that Arsenal's players play better in chaos, right? Like, I think that, when you have Odegaard and you still have Gabriel Jesus and you still have Trossard, those guys want space and want things to happen. I think that City's team, especially with the way they had it set up, they didn't really have anyone who was willing to make a forward pass. It was all about control. Kovacic and Silva are controlling the ball. Rico Lewis is just happy to be there, and he's like, I don't want to make mistakes. I want to take the ball and give it away. None of them were turning and trying to drive into the Arsenal defense. They were just controlling it. And if they were going to turn an attack, it was going to be through Foden. And I think Arteta knew that. And whenever Foden got on the ball to turn, they're on him. Whenever Alvarez got the ball, they're on him.
But see, okay, that's a good way to look at it. But I also look at it this way. And this is we're going to talk about the goalkeepers because they're man, I think I am 2 for 2 and you are 0 for 2 on this one. But on that pressing that City did in the beginning, it could have. So you see how football?
Absolutely.
It could have been 2-0. So
I think the first 20 minutes, City were on it. And actually, I thought in my head when they missed the Ake shot, I was like, oh, they didn't score in the first 20 minutes, they're not going to win this game. Because that's usually how City win. They do get goals early and kind of shut you down. The longer it goes without City scoring, the more likely it is that they'll sort of settle in and go, okay, we don't got this. This isn't our day. And they'll shut it down and hope for something.
Yeah. I mean, but listen, I understand it for what it is. 3 points, that's massive. And to be able to take the 3 points and take away 3 points from, who is supposed to be more than likely win the Premier League, because you're in that battle. So that, as far as math goes, that I get that. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, because you can only take 6 points away from them, and you took 3. You got half, 50% of the job done. More than likely going back to Manchester, you can, if you can, I would say, just even, 50-50, you get us at home, I get you, at home, then we call it even.
There's actually an article in The Athletic about those head-to-head between teams. They went through all Premier League history, and rarely do those head-to-heads actually make a difference. It's usually a draw, usually, between 3 shared or 4. They really don't have impact on the title, usually. Now, they're big games. They matter. All the games matter. But like I've said, you win leagues by beating the bottom 10 like a drum. That's 60 points right there. Put those in my pocket and worry about the rest later.
Now, people are going way to the other side now, saying that the invincible City is not is invincible anymore. Well,
sure,
you can't. Well, obviously they lost the game, so they're not going to be invincible. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, the narrative goes from one side to the next.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Sickening. So
they don't really.
City's still the best team in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
There's nothing to debate. And even being the best, they could lose the Premier League. That has nothing to do with
the line I had here was funny. It was like Saliba had a great game. He put Haaland in his pocket, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Arsenal have one guy like that. City have 5 guys that are as good as Saliba, right? Walker will shut down Vinicius. Akanji can step into the midfield. Pep has made him into one of the best players in the world. Diaz is the leader and the valuable player from Vincent Kompany. John Stones, who played his first game of the season, literally was the best player in the Champions League and was in the Champions League best 11 last season. And then the last one is Ake, who was probably City's most versatile defender.
But I'm going to tell you this. Ake was one of the best in the game.
Yeah. And that's 5. That's 5 defenders City put. And then I didn't even talk about Guardiola, who was carrying the ball like he was freaking Rivaldo coming out from the back. And he's the newest one. They have 5 defenders as good as anyone that Arsenal has.
And that's what I'm saying, though. In the very beginning, Guardiola had one where, it could have been easily that play in general, not saying him. Mm-hmm. And then you got Alvarez pressing. He done that since River Plate, just pressing. And goalkeepers don't know, because you see them coming fast. And I'm telling you, Raya, man, it's
got lucky.
So let's talk about Raya right there, just that specific player.
Yeah,
boy, what in the hell? This kid, and it is 50% fault of Arteta, because. And I'm gonna also blame the defenders. I don't care what the coach is. If the coach tells me I'm playing, if I am a center back, if I'm Saliba,
yell at him.
Away. Kick the damn ball. I don't care if Arteta says whatever. He guides us, but we make the damn decisions at the end. Man, he could have easily messed up bad. He was passing balls, man, that were just an inch away from being just a catastrophe, man. I mean, it could
start. Yeah. So if we want to go back to the Raya Ramsdale thing, I know why they chose Raya. It's all statistics, right? It's all post-shot XG, blah, 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 blah. Now, I am perfectly willing to accept that does not measure this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Heart and head. Ramsdale has a good personality for a keeper. He wants to be at Arsenal. He understands that it's Arsenal. He's English. He knows what Arsenal means. That is his better piece of it. The reason, and Raya is the better shot blocker, the better saver, good with long balls. Now, what Arteta was seeing from Raya was his work at Brentford. What was his work at Brentford? Ivan Toney hoofing it downfield and him firing balls to Ivan Toney. He's not actually good at short passes and making decisions. His timing for everything was off. Like you said, if I'm a defender, I don't want it. When to pass, when to get rid of it, how to give it to a player, whether a guy's open. That part seemed to be not instinctual. He's still like, what? What are we doing?
I
I don't
almost, I
know.
almost, I
Yeah,
almost felt like he was just trying too hard to just pass. I mean,
yeah.
I felt
The
like, dude,
second
you don't,
half, it was better.
yeah,
There
yeah,
was less problems, but yeah, it
dude,
was
you
tough.
don't have, and maybe he wasn't used to the type of person that City did. Maybe, and also playing against City, it costs you to
Yeah,
become nervous. You want to play the best game you can,
yeah,
but at the end of the day, man, you after the first, second play, okay, I'm not gonna be the fool here. You know what I mean? So you got to
yeah,
make those
yeah.
decisions on your own.
I
I'm,
hear you. I hear
I'm,
you.
I'm,
Listen, I
I'm
I
gonna give
don't
it to
think
you,
there's
man.
that much difference between Ramsdale and Raya, but I understand it based on what I know about math and numbers and understanding these things.
Look at
Why
this.
Raya
Look at
got
this.
picked.
Look at this. Ah, boy. Hey, that stadium did erupt. I will say that.
It
You
was
know,
a boring game, to be
yeah.
fair. Although City didn't really,
I
like I
feel
said,
bad
City
for
didn't
Ake,
really
man.
create much for Ake. Yeah,
I feel bad because he played the best.
he didn't do anything. I could make the argument that taking off Alvarez the mistake. They should have taken off Haaland if you're going to make that move
Yeah.
and keep the mobility of Alvarez and the sort of randomness and the danger of his press and his sort of touch and his clinicalness. Like Haaland was
If,
going to
if
score because Ederson fired one over the top. That was the way.
and that's the thing. I think it was a fought, a really rough game. I felt like to your point that Alvarez is made for that. I mean, he is made to be annoying, a nuisance. He's gonna run. He's never gonna get tired. He's gonna run, defend, and Haaland is not gonna do that. Haaland is,
It's just more. He's more technical, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Holland
that's
is power. Holland is is a clinical finisher. Has all these attributes. But Alvarez was made for this game where you needed a moment. You needed something magical, and Holland needs someone to set him up. And you didn't have players on the pitch to set him up. So
yeah.
how is he ever going to do anything? And it's
Now,
fine. Listen, I'm not upset. I'm just like City get behind in these kind of
but
situations all the time. You tell me where we are in March,
let,
and I'll
let me,
worry then.
let me tell you something. I believe you, but stop saying it because I'm not gonna believe you now if you keep saying it. I'm not upset. I'm not upset. Yeah, but
I mean, I was I mean, I was
the
bummed out,
cameras
but I
on you.
wasn't upset. I mean, like, I'll tell you games where I was upset. Raheem Sterling offside against Tottenham in 2019. Opening day of the season against Spurs, the handball by Laporte, which is the most absurd game. City took 35 shots, 15 on goal, and lost 2-1 on 3 shots by Spurs. The FA Cup against Arsenal with Aubameyang just bombing down the wing and City blowing games. All the Liverpool losses were just brutal. These don't matter. Like, I'm not afraid of Arsenal.
But
That's what I'm saying. I
oh,
do not fear Arsenal.
say it, baby. Say it.
They're
Say it.
weak. They're weak.
Okay, don't go that far. Don't go
They
that far.
are.
We'll get some gooners in here.
Who should I be afraid of?
Hey, there. Ultimately, it's about the team, man. Hey,
They're not
Newcastle
killers.
beat
Man, get out of here.
eliminated City. Hey, let me tell you something. Hey, don't act like they didn't want to win that game. That's all you say when they lose.
Isaac is a killer.
No, hey, now, but listen, I will throw this though. I think City.
If I was Arsenal, I would be trying to get Isaac and get rid of freaking Gabriel. Isaac's
No,
better.
Gabriel's good, man.
He's not
No, but
Isaac.
Isak is cold, man. He's
He's a
cold.
killer.
He's cold when he's in that small
Yeah,
box, man. He
yeah,
just he just pauses and let everybody get through and
yeah.
scores, man. The way he did on that whistle, we're gonna talk about it. But Tottenham first right now. Nobody's talking about Tottenham, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
Wh-
are
wh-
top of the league on
the-
goals
When's the
scored.
last time
They have
this happened?
scored.
You don't know that, do you, Mister
I
Statistic?
do. 1961.
Are you serious?
Yes.
The last time Tottenham was first?
No, the last time they had this, they were this. Yeah, I think they had this many points at this point in the season. 1961, Bill Nicholson, they won the league that season.
But
Looked it
with
up.
this win, of course, Arsenal second
I
and
looked it
City
up.
third. City lost the last 2 games, man. I'm not sure. I'm not
I
sure.
know.
We have to
No
fix.
No Rodri, no party.
Yeah, that is true. The king of the the king in the midfield. Liverpool, of course, tying the game against
Good,
Brighton.
good
Good,
game.
good
Good
game.
game. Really
Really,
good
really fun game to watch.
game.
And Mo Salah, man, just on fire, man.
You know
He
what? I had a bit in my show in the Squeaky Bum Time podcast that I released yesterday. Just Liverpool fans or regular Premier League fans, don't forget to look at Mo Salah's numbers. When we get a guy who's a 20 goal scorer, 10 assist guy every year for 5 or 6 years in a row, we tend to forget how hard that is. And that if Ollie Watkins had a 20 and 10 season, we'd make him player of the year. Or if Isak had a 20 and 10 season, we'd make him player of the year and we'd say, "Oh my god, Newcastle are going to win the league." Mo Salah is a 25 and 15 guy for 7 straight years. Like, don't disrespect or forget how great some of these players are. I think that's kind of what we did with Harry Kane. Just like, oh, he scores 30 a year, he's fine. He
Yeah.
scores 30 a year. That's crazy talk. Like, Mo Salah is an incredible player, and we shouldn't forget about him. That's all I'm saying.
He's just a great passer and great.
Everything. I hate it. Now, he scares me. When he's in the box and he has the ball and City are defending, I don't care who's in front of him.
Yeah. You're right. You're right about that one. And Newcastle and West Ham United, man, 2-2. Man, boy, we let it go, man. I was about to go to right before going to church. It wasn't a good man. I was like, I'm about to go to church. We're about to win, and then they tied the game. West Ham. I didn't watch.
Kudos is good, man. It was a hell of a
West
shot.
Ham, West Ham was good, but Isak, man.
Listen, but who made them? Trippier. What a legend.
Oh yeah, no, Trippier. Yeah, he's the best. I said it. He's the best right back in the Premier League.
Yeah. Well,
no, don't Kyle Walker, man.
Offensively.
Yeah, well, listen. That's my type of football, man. I don't defend, but Trippier, unbelievable, man. He's such a leader too. Just man,
he's great.
Again, we didn't talk about the PSG, the Champions League, but that was just an incredible match. But Newcastle 8th, still gotta get some points to get in the Champions League. That's gotta be the goal. Brighton right there fighting for for that spot as well. Aston Villa 5th, man. I didn't expect that from Aston Villa, winning three in a row, and then tying this last one.
Listen,
not bad.
The fact is, the top 8 in the Premier League is a war. And we're not even including in that war Manchester United and Chelsea.
No.
So let's assume that West Ham drop out of that top 8. Spurs, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Villa, Brighton, Newcastle, United, and Chelsea. That is a real group. All those teams, either they're super duper well run and they're doing a great job. So that's Villa and Aston Villa. Sorry, that's Villa and Brighton. Or they have more money than God and should be improving in United and Chelsea. There is no guarantees in this league. It is a tough league. And when you pair that with the bottom half, where Luton, Burnley, Bournemouth, and Sheffield United are so bad, like they may not win. They might not win between them 30 games, right? Between the 5 of them, four of them, they won't win 30 games. No way. That would mean they might only win 15. They might only win 20 games between the 4 of them. That means that there's points to be had on the board. We might see some bottom half teams that just get brutalized by this strong group in this division. Jurgen Klopp had an interview today, and he was like, yesterday after that game, he was like, you know what? When I came into this league, someone like Brighton was not a really big deal. We could sort of, go down there, get our points, and go home. Now he's like, this draw was good. I'm happy with this draw because the teams are good. Like, going to Villa Park is going to be hell. Playing Brighton on a Sunday night is already hell. Playing Brentford, even though they're having a hard time, United will tell you, we almost lost that game. So there are so many good teams in this division. I don't think it's hyperbolic to say, they're pushing the big teams. It might be a tough season. That's why Arsenal's going to have it tough. And that's why City don't sleep on those games. You have to show up every single game because someone will beat you. Even shitty ass Luton, they should have beat Spurs, right? They missed a wide open shot on the back post and they were up a man because Basuma, my favorite player, just inexplicably on a yellow throws himself on the ground, which is madness.
All right, we're gonna talk about this Manchester United game, another game that was unbelievable because of the moments. Football moments are unbelievable, and we're gonna give you the tie. We're gonna give you the tie, man. The tie, because McTominay. Hey, we might have to look at this different.
Class. Yeah.
because man, he just looked for it and looked for it right here with the he tries it right there. Oh
I
no,
just
right
I
there,
just
right
hear I just hear
there. And that gives United hope in this game. And, okay, we're
Mhm.
about to tie it. We're not gonna. And then, and then, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. What the unbelievable happened? The unbelievable happened, literally.
What,
Uh,
Harry Maguire helped the team win something?
Harry Maguire, but yeah, but see, that's another thing. Harry Maguire needs to start. He needs to go back to the basics. Ten Hag, man, he needs to just go back to the basics, man. Just relax, man. Just try to win games. Onana, horrible game with Onana. All I see is Onana celebrating at the end of matches. Not
I think the thing with United is you're right. I think it does have to go back to basics. Their offense is just bad. It's just normal. I think that the way for them to win is they do have to play as a defensive team that plays on the counter. Stop trying to be a possession-based team. You're not good enough. The players don't understand it. They don't have the education. It's not in their DNA. This is, I think, the thing that Ten Hag is just like, I think fundamentally he's boggled by it. He's like, these players don't understand what I'm saying. I really think that's what it is. That the English players' education in football is not the same as Ajax. They don't understand space. They don't understand these things. And either he's a bad teacher or he doesn't know how to convey the messaging to them. This team is not designed to be a possession-based team. There's no De Jong in there. There's no Rodri. There's no six in there. Like, Casemiro is a great player, an all-timer, 5-time Champions League winner, but he's not a tick over, get the ball on a half turn, take it in space, break the lines, making a pass. He's a grinder. He's a soldier, not an artist, right? And if he's your six, and even Amrabat, how did Morocco win in that World Cup? They won by grinding teams to the pulp. They didn't win by taking the ball in a half turn, running into space, making the pass out to the wing and getting it out wide. They won because they ground people down and they had a couple of talented players to run the ball to the midfield. And the more Ten Hag thinks he can play, the less this team is going to win.
yeah,
They need to play on the counter and be like a 35 to 40% possession team. And when it's time for McTominay to come on and you're losing late, do it and don't be ashamed, right? Put Harry Maguire and McTominay in the box, kick it long and be like, this is how we win. We're playing like this.
yeah.
Deal with it.
All right, let's watch the this will win the stadium. This reminded me of a good old Manchester United time.
Yeah, squeaky bum time.
And, and the stadium came down 96.
Yeah. Look at freaking Onana all the way over there.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's always celebrating his teammates saving his ass, man.
Yeah,
Come
well.
on, man.
I think the interesting thing is McTominay is actually a good player, and he gets much maligned because of McFred, because the fact that the two of them together were not a good combination. I think they had too much overlapping skill. They couldn't really control games. They weren't tidy on the ball. But McTominay is a player that United always have. The academy player who bleeds the red, who's been there since he's 5 years old. He understands what it means to be a United player. And they've had that through history. If you think about Fletcher, who was there, and everyone will be like, why is Fletcher playing? Why does Ferguson insist on playing Darren Fletcher? And you're like, because he's a guy. Because Alex Ferguson would put someone who was him on the field. And in McTominay, you have a Scottish kid. I mean, he's from Manchester, but Scottish descent on that field. He's a direct line from Ferguson, all that institutional strength on the field. And he puts in a shift. And those guys can't be discounted. Now, you don't want them to be the be all and end all, but to move them on is such a mistake. You need those guys that it matters to them. Because it clearly, like, the McTominay thing was so good. In the interview, he's like, I just watched a David Beckham documentary. I'm doing it for Kath. She's one of the characters in the show. She's like the receptionist at Manchester United. We're doing it for Kath and those people that come to work every day that understand United. And you're just like, it makes your hair stand up. You're like, oh, he's about the club. He didn't care about it. And that Ten Hag doesn't see that is surprising. You're just like, dude, what do you Stop thinking of him as a player. There are guys that have skills that are not just player skills. He's has the skill of spirit, right? He's carrying United in him, right? It's why Rashford is so important and why they love him so much. And when he does badly, it hurts Lee even more. It's just like, can you just track back? You're
Yeah.
fucking. You've been
He's a
here.
boy. He's a boy guy.
Yeah, you're from the hood. You got to do better. You got to show that and work hard. And he got pulled off. And Garnacho made the difference. Remember, he's spinning around holding the ball, causes the free kick, causes the foul. I mean, as much as I was waiting to laugh at United, it was a moving moment. Like you
Yeah,
just can't not get swept
it
up in
really
it.
was.
Hmm.
Hey, what happened with City's scuffle, man, after the match with Kyle Walker and then
I don't
you?
know what that was about. I didn't really look that up. I have a feeling it's just
It,
it's a
we
guy
got,
who was a coach on City who is now went
yeah,
to Arsenal and just probably talking that talk.
talking
This
as
is
Mike.
good. This is what is needed. We need this. It's
He,
too
he
nice.
he tried to shake his hand and then Kyle
Good,
Walker
good,
right there. Ooh, what's
good.
that?
Don't touch me. Good. That's because Kyle Walker is real English. He's from
Yeah,
Yorkshire. He's from Sheffield. He's not messing around.
yeah, he carries two blades with him at all
Good.
times.
Yeah, two blades, the Sheffield blades. By the way, they're called the blades because they made knives and forks. It's cutlery. It's not
Yeah.
it's not like they were making swords. They made
Oh,
stainless
but
steel.
which by the way, a player got injured with between Fulham and Sheffield, right? Uh, the dude snapped his ankle, man.
Oh, he did? Oof.
Yeah, he
But just
snapped.
turning, yeah. What was his name? Chris Basham?
Yeah,
That guy is Sheffield through and through. He was there with Chris Wilder. He was one of those overlapping fullbacks, if you remember that whole story when they were doing some weird tactical stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
that team's in trouble. They'll probably fire their coach soon.
What
That
was
could
it?
option.
Jover is the last name of this guy, the coach, for Arsenal that must have said something because
Good, good. We
you
need
know,
this. It's fine. I don't mind it. Let them be salty. Let them be. I want it to be nasty. I want City to have spirit and fight and throw blows because I just don't. You want that in your team. You know,
yeah,
it shouldn't be friendly. Like I think City sometimes is a little too friendly. Like get in
right.
people's faces, get stuck in. Speaking of which, did you talk about the Kovacic thing? How bad that was?
Oh, the double card. I mean,
Yeah, well,
that's just he went hard. Yeah, he could have been in trouble. He should have been in trouble.
he should have
Uh,
gotten sent off. Honestly.
but I mean,
You know what though? I think it's funny. So this is on the back of all the Liverpool folks. I know, Manny, I'm talking to you and your goddamn Liverpool craziness. But I think see the way I looked at it was like Michael Oliver said, "You know what? He just got 2 yellows. I do not want to ruin this game by sending him off. I'm going
yeah,
to leave him on."
I
I think
think
he
it's okay.
knew. He was like, "I can ruin this game and call and give him a red or I can just go, nope, you're good." And he
Yeah,
did. And I think the irony of it is that's what everyone wanted Simon Hooper to do. They wanted an Jota call for him to go, you know what? You're on a yellow. Don't send him off. Because he had a yellow. So which one do we want? Do we want every yellow called no matter what, no matter what? Or do we want the referee to have discretion and go, you know what? If I do this, I'm going to ruin this game. Should he have been sent off? Absolutely. Twice on Sunday. I don't have any doubt about that.
but
That's fine. But if they did that, they would have ruined the game, right?
to me, they're not like flagrant fouls where you just. I mean, it went hard,
They're
but
both yellows, though. They are.
yeah, I mean, but I'm not going crazy. I mean, there's worse calls than that.
Right.
So,
But the question really is what is the role of the referee?
but see
Is it
that yeah,
is
that's
it
the thing. It's
is
just
it
as
is it for him to call the game
every
as the
single foul.
laws say, no matter what,
I
no
don't think
matter the
so.
context?
I don't think they should be
Or is it for them to make sure we have a good game
because at
that's
the
a
end
spectacle that finds out who the best team is on that day?
at the end
Those
of
are
the day, they impart the law and they are human beings, meaning they get to interpret however they see things. And sometimes you're like, listen, I'm gonna give this a pass. It's okay to cops have a law that they don't apply it all the time. Sometimes they give you a pass when you're going too fast. It's just applying common sense to it. adds.
Right. If you're drunk and you're taking a piss on the side of a building,
Yeah, that's what.
technically you should be arrested for disorderly conduct. But if the cop comes by and is like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing? Why are you peeing on that building?" You're like, he's like, "Go home. Don't worry about it." Does that guy now become the worst police officer ever, even though I peed on some business? Like it's the same thing. That's that yellow card, yellow pee. Come on, I'm putting it all together. But I think in that case, I think what Michael Oliver did was the right thing. Let this game play. And Kovacic was fine for the rest of the game. He, in fact, toned it down a lot. He was able to come off.
He knew.
We didn't have to have a 11 on 10 where City can just go, "Oh, they didn't beat us. We didn't even have our guys." Now City can go, "We got beat." Trying to pussyfoot our way through this game, trying to see it out without, doing this like push them away kind of style where we just won't let them get near our goal. And they got punished because Ake got a ball in the face.
Let me show you, man. This girl, Chloe Kelly, man, from City. Man, he sent a smacker. I want to show you. We got to give the girl some love. And
this is a huge game. Now, you want to talk about bad refereeing. This was an abomination. She was sent off. There was a sending off for going 30 seconds longer, 30 seconds on a free kick after having a yellow. So
that's
just awful. By the way, that's a huge game for City to get a draw against the great and powerful Chelsea. Massive game for the City.
By the way, they need to figure it out too. I don't like the girls playing in these small ass stadiums, man. They need to play at their home.
They can't fail them yet.
It doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about playing in the damn stadium.
Yeah, but that was full. That's a 5,000 seat stadium in the complex. So it's within the city zone. This where that's a full stadium.
Playing in a complex. I'm not doing that.
No. I think that's. But would you rather that, or would you rather the stadium be empty?
I mean, eventually, they just let them. You got to let them play in the home stadium, man.
They do. So when they play,
5,000 people are going to yell the same as here. It's not going to.
But it makes a difference. I think it's fine. I disagree with you on this. Now, when they play United,
yeah, why
they will have the full stadium because it's a derby. By the way, I love and I want to look at you WNBA and look at you WSL. The English do this right. I already am a fan of Manchester City. If you make the women's team the Manchester City women's team, I will stay a fan. Don't make me support, if I'm a Lakers fan, the freaking LA Sparks. Call them the Lakers. Make it the same.
Exactly.
Why are they the New York Liberty? Make them the New York Knicks.
But at the end of the day,
to me. It's crazy.
But they're the only reason, obviously, because they have different owners. They're at different companies in the sense they can't have the same.
The WNBA teams are owned by the league. They're subsidized. The WNBA is subsidized by the NBA.
Magic Johnson owns the Sparks.
No, in your case, you're right. In England, the teams are
but the same, yeah. So it's easier.
But some teams didn't have any teams. Like Real Madrid did not have a team, and they just bought a women's team whole and rebranded them.
They can do that
because they got shamed. I love that City, Chelsea, and Arsenal have had women's teams for a long time, and the big clubs all got shamed. United was like, "Oh, we don't have a women's team. You better get one." Liverpool, I think at this point, they're weak. They're really bad. I think we should all shame them for having shit women's team. They should be right there too. It should be all the same teams.
Wayne Rooney obviously leaving DC United. I told you all this, man. He's gonna go to Birmingham. I knew it.
I saw that.
Don't really think that. I mean, this was a mutual thing. I just don't see him. I don't see him.
I don't think he's a good coach.
I don't rate him and he's always pissed off, man. He can't be like that. That was cute when you were a player and you were the just the pouty kid. What was his nickname?
I don't know.
His nickname was like something the kid.
Well, he started at 16, so he was
a redheaded.
The thing is like the thing with Rooney is like that's insane to me. Is he's the same age as Cristiano?
Yeah, well, I mean, but hey, they just had different careers.
He never took care of his body the way Cristiano did.
Maybe he didn't want to. Maybe he just didn't want to be a player no more. You gotta respect their decisions, man. I'm just saying he's nowhere near. He's just not a good coach. He got DC United because he played there and he could build relationships.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Although taking over this Birmingham job, I was listening to one of my EFL podcasts. They are all apoplectic about it because Eustace, the coach at Birmingham, has done a good job and has been holding on to that club, piecing it together because they're in financial straits. Their stadium's falling apart. Birmingham City, the home of Jude Bellingham, they developed him at 16. I remember watching him. I was like, who the hell is that? He was 16,
Yeah.
didn't fit into his shirt. He just looked like a coat hanger. But Birmingham City, a lot of history. They are the most promoted team in English football history. They've gone up and down over 12 times over their history. So very interesting team.
good team.
Yeah,
No, well,
but good history. But their stadium's falling apart. I watched their game. Half the stands are empty and rotting, so they can't let anyone sit in them. But the Rooney signing, I don't think is going to make a difference. It's weird that this is going to be Tom Brady's first public decision. I think it's probably a mistake, but we'll see. We'll follow that story up as well.
Squeaky bum time, man. And just to end, David Beckham is considered as one of the maybe a future ambassador for United, to be under Sheik if he buys the damn club sometime ever. So he's kind of came out and talked, in this whole premiering of his documentary, said that they need some changes, and obviously this is kind of like a political thing. You're going to go with your candidate. As long as he wins, you get the job. I don't know. Listen, I think Beckham is a great mind. I don't think he's done that great for Inter Miami. But
it doesn't matter what he did. He signed Messi. He's now a legend forever.
But that's what I'm saying is like, I think that it would be adding a lot to his plate. I'm not sure that he's going to be. How is he going to manage this? I know he's English, but he's got Inter Miami to worry about. Then he's going to go Manchester United, which is not an easy thing at all. And
I wouldn't. If I were David Beckham, I would not put my name next to Manchester United until I knew what the story was. Now, if you are going to be the figurehead for the Saudi owner, similar to who's the woman that is the figurehead for Newcastle? I can't remember her name. Anyway,
I forgot her name. Yeah.
But she's really good. She's out front. She brokered the deal. That's fine. She was in there from the beginning. Stavely, I think her name's Amanda Stavely. I don't know why that name pops in my head. That could be wrong. It could be someone else. But I don't think Beckham is the right. I mean, he could be. He looks great, whatever. But watching that documentary, it seemed that Victoria does not feel like going back and forth. There was a lot of fighting about going back and forth.
Yeah. No,
I watched the whole thing. It's pretty good.
I'm going to. It's okay, man. It's okay. If you're not about to justify Peter Crouch getting a documentary and not David Beckham, because I know how y'all haters do, man.
The Peter Crouch one's amazing too, though. He's much fun. The thing is, Beckham is really boring. He's not. He looks great, but he's not charismatic when he talks. Like Crouch is much more charismatic. Same way that Ben Foster in his podcast, the Fozcast, much more charismatic. These people that have personality, even though they're journeyman players, Robbie Savage, even Phil Neville and Gary Neville, they're much more charismatic. Beckham is, he's an OCT guy who looks good. He never, in the whole documentary, there's so many moments where he just goes, yeah. And they just cut. You're like, what is he doing? So he's not that interesting. He does look okay. The plastic surgery, I really wanted a question about that because there wasn't one. I'm like, how does he look like that? He looks weird.
It looks good. He's got a lot of wrinkles, man.
There's some underneath his eyes. He has no aging. It's bizarre.
And
his teeth got straight all of a sudden, and his nose got straight. I don't know. He doesn't look the same.
Haters, ladies and gentlemen, haters here on Football Tonight. That's it for this show. Thank you so much for listening, for watching. You can listen to these on demand on Spotify, on all your listening platforms. My name is Chris Rodriguez, Laurent Cortines. We will see you or hear you. We won't hear you, but you'll hear us next time.
Did you get any Lewis York on here? Poor guy.
Yeah. He's been long gone, man. Been long gone. I got him. Anyways, see you guys next time.